Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum. Brothers and sisters, the 40 ahadith on Zakat. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud's wife by the name of Zainab, she comes to the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Ya Rasulullah, you encouraged us to give some sadaqah, to give some charity, and I had some gold and I wanted to give this in charity, and Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he said to me that I should give it to him in charity. Ya Rasulullah, is this correct? Am I allowed to give my husband Abdullah ibn Mas'ud from my charity? Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, yes, your husband, your kid, they have more right to your charity than anyone else. Hadith reported in Sahih al-Bukhari. Ya Abdullah, Ya Amat Allah, we learn from this hadith, number one, that when somebody has doubt with regards to something, go and ask the people of knowledge. She didn't know, she was confused, so she comes to the Prophet ﷺ to ask. What doubt did she have? She felt that me giving my husband charity, then he will go out, he will buy something, and then I'm going to eat from it. I'm going to benefit from the charity. So at the end of the day, the charity is coming back to me. Is this permissible? Would this be allowed? So that was the doubt in the mind of Zainab, wife of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. We find that the ulama discuss, while discussing this hadith, they discuss the issue of who are you allowed to give zakat to? Are you allowed to give zakat to the wife, to the husband? Are you allowed to give zakat to your children, to your parents? And when they discuss this, we found that most of the ulama are of the opinion that you are not allowed to give zakat to your wife. Why are you not allowed to give zakat to your wife? Because technically you will be offsetting your responsibility when you give zakat, to your wife. So sadaqah, no problem, but zakat to your wife, not allowed, because you're offsetting your responsibility of looking after her. But what about the wife giving the husband? Like we found in this hadith, we found that the ulama state sadaqah, no problem at all, but zakah, there's a debate. We find that the Maliki scholars and the Shafi'i scholars allow for the wife to give the husband her zakah. Why did they allow it? Based upon this hadith, Zainab, they said, gave her husband Abdullah ibn Mas'ud zakah. And they also state that Zainab asked, Ya Rasulullah, will it be accepted from me? Will it be valid from me? And they said this is an indication that she was not giving ordinary sadaqah, but rather she was giving zakah. And so the Maliki scholars and the Shafi'i scholars allow for the wife to give the husband her zakah, walhamdulillah. They said, as for that kid there, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, they said that was his kid and it was not her child. The second opinion in this matter is the opinion of the Hanafi scholars and the Hanbali scholars. They said, oh wife, you are allowed to give your husband sadaqah, but you're not allowed to give your husband zakah. The spouses not allowed to give one another zakah, and that's the opinion of the Hanafis and the Hanbalis. And they said, why? They said because this hadith does not prove that one's allowed to give zakah, rather it proves that one's allowed to give sadaqah. They interpreted this charity to mean sadaqah. And Ya Abdullah, Ya Amat Allah, majority of the ulama do not allow for an individual to give his parents or her parents zakah, nor do they allow for one to give their children zakah. Why? Because it's your responsibility to look after them, and if you are giving them your zakah, then you are offsetting your responsibility with those zakah funds, and that's not allowed. As for your brother, your sister, you can give them zakah, no problem. Why? Because it's not your responsibility to look after them. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. On that note, jazakumullahu khairan, hayyakumullah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.